Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Nerden here once again, and in today's video I am going to be doing something a little bit different, and in today's video I am going to be discussing about my opinions for the 13th Doctor and her era, aka Chris Chibnall's era as showrunner so far. Now the reason why I'm making this video is because I haven't really discussed my feelings for the current era of the show on the channel, or really out in the open much before, and yeah, it's kind of like an unscripted video, as I normally do, to be completely honest, so I could be rambling a little bit here and there, but yeah, today I am going to be discussing, mainly because I am excited for the new series, and obviously it is heavily rumoured that Jodie Whittaker's Doctor will be regenerating at the end of the new series, so again, take rumours with a grain of salt, but it could be happening at the end of the series, and I thought it would be good to kind of just have a look at what we've had so far from Chris Chibnall's writing and Jodie Whittaker's acting and everything else in between, and kind of just come up with, well, my own opinion, and obviously everyone has their own opinion for the series and the show overall, so leave comments down below what you think of Chris Chibnall's era so far, and with that being said, let's get into the video. So, obviously, Jodie is the Doctor. I fully accept her as the Doctor, 100%, and while she wasn't my first choice as the Doctor, I don't even think, because, well, I used to make, like, you know, little lists of people I want to be as the Doctor, similar to how I've done on the channel with the 14th Doctor, and back then I was like, oh, okay, yeah, a bit of a, you know, strange choice, but you know what, I'm up for it, because I did enjoy seeing her in Broadchurch and Attack the Block as well, and I was very interested into seeing how she would approach the character of the Doctor. And Chris Chibnall as well, when he was announced being the new showrunner, I was very interested to see how he would take on the show, because the episodes that he wrote for Doctor Who itself, I weren't that keen on. I wasn't that much of a fan of, if I'm being completely honest. But when he wrote for Torchwood, it was probably the best writing I've seen, and obviously Broadchurch itself was really well done as well. So yeah, very exciting there, and then I was like, okay, now let's get into Series 11. And when Series 11 aired, I really did enjoy the first couple episodes. They weren't exactly masterpieces by any means, but they were a good introduction to Chris Chibnall's era and a new Doctor and new companions. But my biggest complaint for that series was that it was a, you know, fresh reboot of the show, obviously, but at the same time we had a new Doctor and, you know, completely new team, but we didn't have any existing monsters. Yes, a Dalek came back for Resolution, but apart from that, it was very brave of them to try and do so many new monsters, but none of them really stuck for me. And that was kind of the issue I had with Series 11. It was kind of just like, okay, it was start watching the episode, oh, I made it to the end. Nothing really happened. Nothing really stuck. Yes, there were standalone episodes, so there wasn't necessarily everything was tied to one big series arc. But then, yeah, it was completely disappointing. And I was excited for Series 11 to potentially involve the Stenza, but no, unfortunately not. We got a little bit of Tim Shaw, who was a little bit lackluster in himself, but after that was it really. Series 11, I haven't really rewatched much at all, if I'm being completely honest. I just don't enjoy that series, and yeah, the finale as well didn't really feel like a finale, so that's when I just knew, yeah, Series 11 wasn't for me, and it did cast a doubt in my mind. I was like, Jodie did really well, in my opinion. Yes, there's some issues about her Doctor that I'll be bringing up in a little while, but yeah, I was excited to see what happened. But before I move on to Resolution, I just want to point out something with the companions. There were too many in the TARDIS for that the episode length format. So we had 10 50-minute episodes, and they're all standalone, so you could just literally watch an episode and you wouldn't have to, you know, binge watch it to understand what was going on. It wasn't tied to a story arc, and it didn't heavily rely on what came before, so from Moffat's era or Russell T Davies's era. So yeah, you could just jump on, and there was no consequences for any actions in any of the episodes whatsoever, and that's why I just felt so disconnected from Who, because New Who, and even Classic Who as well, there were, you know, consequences to actions, and obviously there were sequels to stories, there was continuation, there was character growth. We didn't really get that in Series 11. Then came Series 12, but I just forgot Resolution, that I remember when this came out on New Year's Day in 2019, and I weren't exactly a fan of the episode, but in my opinion it was one of the best Dalek episodes that we've had in a long time, compared to the Stephen Moffat era, where the Daleks were completely wasted in my opinion. I can't think of a Dalek episode, except for Into the Dalek, that was a very good concept that I did really like seeing. But apart from that, the rest of the episodes were kind of just sluggish and boring in my eyes anyway. So Resolution did work in my eyes. Again, it fell victim to the short episode length as well, and obviously we had so much stuff going on as well. There's some stuff brought from Series 11, such as Ryan's dad, and yeah, it just kind of all felt a little bit of a mess in my eyes. But then we move on to Series 12. Series 12 for me was the first episode in a very long time that I really got into, and mainly because, yeah, I finally got into Doctor Who YouTube communities and everything like that. I started uploading on this channel, and yeah, Series 12 was the reason why I am making this video today, is because I really enjoyed making Doctor Who videos on YouTube about it. So yeah, I did really enjoy making videos on Series 12. But yeah, going back onto the series itself, I felt like it was good. It was a good series, and it was a vast improvement on Series 11, just because we had some familiar elements, we had some returning monsters, we had the Master. Sacha Dhawan was perfect casting for that villain, if I'm being completely honest. Chris Chibnall did a really good job there casting Sacha, and yeah, I can't wait to see more of his iteration of the Master. I felt like the Cybermen were probably the most interesting that they've been in a very long time as well, and I was worried when I found out Chris Chibnall was doing a Cyberman story, because Cyberwoman for Torchwood didn't really sit well with me. So the fact that he managed to write a 3-part Cyberman story, technically, that worked out really well was amazing. And then he brought back Captain Jack Harkness. He did some pretty good fan service there, and then brought him back for the Festive Special as well. That was pretty interesting. But I felt like the series did fall short to the BBC's marketing. There was no marketing effort with Series 12 whatsoever. And that was pretty unfortunate, if I'm being completely honest. Because Series 12, yeah, there were some weaker episodes there like Orphan 55 and Can You Hear Me, in my opinion. But overall, I would say that the stronger episodes in Series 12 were the ones that were tied to the Timeless Child story arc. And then we get onto that story arc myself. Oh boy. Now, I am going to be making a separate video on my feelings for the Timeless Child story arc, but I'm just going to say that whilst I don't necessarily agree with them that it's going to restore a lot of mystery behind the Doctor, I do feel like it would be an interesting way to see how like Time Lord Society was back in the ancient days, and if we get to go back to ancient Gallifrey for a season or two, I would be down for that, and learning more about Time Lord Society, I'm down for that. But yeah, I'm still a little bit uneasy about the Timeless Child story arc, but I am willing to explore both ways. Will it work? Will it won't work? Because yeah, we've only had like one episode where it's been fully known about what the Timeless Child is, so hopefully Series 13 does shine more light on that. And then Revolution of the Daleks was, in my opinion, probably one of Jodie's best yet. And that brings me on to a few summaries. So yeah, Jodie's Doctor, in my eyes, yeah, she is the Doctor. She is well and truly the Doctor. I've got to say though, she does try to be, well, like her iteration of the character, should I say, is very much in line with Matt Smith's Doctor in terms of like the comedy, and a lot of the times it's very cheesy and it just doesn't sit right with me. Now, I'm not saying the Doctor should be moody all the time. Yeah, the Doctor can be goofy, but there's a sense where you're just being over goofy and it just gets a little bit irritating sometimes. And I do feel like that is something that does kind of put me off the Doctor a little bit, but not in the sense where I'll switch off. I do enjoy seeing her in episodes. And then with the companions as well, we had like 2 seasons where there were 3 companions in the TARDIS, and balancing that with guest stars and everything, there was a lot of character development that didn't happen. In my eyes, the only companion that had a lot of character development was Bradley Walsh's Graham, who obviously lost Grace in Series 11 and then got over his grief and then finally became like a fully fledged character of sorts in Series 12. And then Yaz suddenly got character development out of the blue in Series 12 as well, that I hope continues in Series 13. Chibnall, please do keep up the character development. Yaz is starting to become a bit more of an interesting companion now. But unfortunately, the character of Ryan, who's played by Tosin Cole, did fall short dramatically, and we didn't get any major character development in my eyes. And that's such a shame that a companion in the TARDIS crew didn't really get a lot of character development. And that showed to me when I was watching Revolution of the Daleks. It was the latest festive special episode, and I wasn't, upset about the departure. There was no emotion there in my eyes. There was just nothing. And I was just like, oh, okay, is that it now? There you go. And we just move on to the new series that John Bishop's coming into, and I hope John Bishop gets balanced character development as well, because that's what the companions are there for. We get to learn more about them, see them evolve throughout the series. So, yeah, very, very interesting stuff. But in terms of Chibnall's writing, I feel like he does the best when he is writing the classic villains. That is my opinion. Like, the Judoon are kind of bog standard. Yeah, they're like police, and they normally serve secondary to another villain or another character, but I really enjoyed Fugitive of the Judoon. I love what he's done with the Daleks in both episodes, and the Cybermen, and obviously the Master. So there's 4 villains there that he's nailed in my eyes. I haven't enjoyed any of the new villains. That I know that they kind of make up most of Chibnall's era so far, but I don't enjoy the new villains, and I hope that in the new series, that I'm assuming there are going to be new villains, I hope that he takes the time just to make them work, make them feel threatening, and that is something. We don't have any major threats from these new villains, and I want to see that with some new villains in Series 13. And one final issue I would like to address with Chibnall's era that I have is the over-reliance on surprises, and that is why Series 12 probably succeeded for many, because we had a lot of plot twists that Series 11 lacked. It was just a simple element that was just not there. There were just a bunch of standalone stories put together, and it just, for me, it just felt like, bit of a, just why am I tuning in every week to watch this when there's no oomph, no motivation to make me watch. And then Series 12 came along, and it just felt like every turn there was a twist. Oh, the Master's back. Oh, the Timeless Child wasn't a throwaway line. Captain Jack's back. Joe Martin's the Doctor. The Doctor's the Timeless Child. Cybermasters. Boom. It was like there was so much going on, and I hope that Series 13 goes with a mix of traditional storytelling and then the story arc stuff. And obviously with a short season, they are going to have to try and work their hardest to try and balance that out. But yeah, I've got to say though, I am looking forward to Series 13. Overall, I am, and I am invested in this era. There's just a few things that obviously similar to the other eras that have come before, I do have some issues with. But obviously, this is so far. The era is far from over, and even when Jodie regenerates, Chris Chibnall will presumably stay on and write for another actor or an actress for the next Doctor, the 14th Doctor. So it'll be interesting to see what he does there, if he ends up taking, or continuing the helm, should I say, for a new Doctor. But yeah, overall, I'm a fan of the series, and I can't wait to see what happens next. But yeah, thank you very much for tuning in into today's video. If you have enjoyed, leave a like, rating, and subscribe for more nerdy content, and I will see you all on my next video. Goodbye for now.